Alright, and hello and welcome to HRL Season 7, round number 11 here. This is HRL Superspeedway, going to be the second and final oval in the season. Let's go through the qualifying top 5. Top 5 in qualifying was detailed with a 13.152, then Roman with a 13.187, Blake with a 13.216, Solange with a 13.312, and Camby with also a 13.312, but Solange had the better second lap, or opposite lap rather. So that's the reason why he gets the 4th place over him. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if we've ever had that happen before. People get two of the exact same time. I think we've been close. I don't know if that's ever exactly been the same though. I have to double check that. But there's There's the top 5. Yeah, it was pretty close times, honestly. Pretty close and competitive from 1st all the way to 10th. So not that much time separating anybody here. Pretty tight and competitive. Heat winners were Luke and Roman for Heat 1 and Heat 2. And then the semi-top, what do I usually do? We'll just do like the top 5 in the semi, why not? I mean, you can tell most of it just by looking at the starting order. But it was Luke, Detail, Hunter, Roman, and Blake. That was the top 5 in the semi. So anyways, we're lined up here for the feature. I mean, I guess I could go through the rest of the starting order. So that's Vulcan 6th, I believe. Yes. And Shift 7th, and then Solange. I mean, the 2 orange guys back here. So I believe it's Sector and then Camby. So that's the whole starting order. I'll try to keep track. It's probably going to be like 53, 45, I'm guessing. Oh my god, that is loud. Oh my god. I'll let that play for the video, but I'm not going to listen to that right now. Alright, anyways, here we go. Green flag. Starting off the race here at HRL Superspeedway. Classic HRL track here. This one's been raced. Not exactly sure how many times. I think it's twice. Once in the grand finals and once in the regular season. I have to double check that. But yeah, pretty historic track here. Forged by myself and Stained Blades. We duo projected this one. And that just goes to show how old this track is. The fact that Blades was working on a track, like, oh yeah, this one must be old. And it's seen a few changes here. Interestingly enough, the main part of the changes is that it's a lot tighter. Interestingly enough, though, I think it kind of runs pretty similar, even though it's tighter in this version, which is weird. But the way you make passes, the way you make moves, the way you run the track, it's honestly all pretty damn similar, even though the track is a lot tighter. So it's kind of weird how that worked out. But anyways, in the early laps, it's going to be Detail, Luke, and right now a battle for 3rd and 4th between Roman and Blake. That is your early top 3. And this track's tough. I mean, there's definitely, we've seen in the past that people find fast lines on it, like late in the race, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again here. But yeah, we've seen in the past where like someone will just figure out a fast way around the track. They won't figure it out until, you know, towards the end of the first moto or even like later in the second moto. But it's just weird because making gains on people tends to be pretty tough on this track. Making a pass is even tougher. But at the same time, I think it's pretty well shown that, yeah, you can, you know, there definitely is a skill gap here and there definitely is faster ways around the track. It's just interesting that people usually don't find it right away. Like, for example, I definitely remember both HRL races in the past kind of being like that, where the lines would switch up through the race, so we'll have to see if that happens here. Right now, the preferred line, a lot of people running like some combination of the middle and the outside and the inside. They kind of run a little bit of everything. It just depends. Depends where they are in the corner. Yeah, I mean, you'll see it here in the top 5. Big mixture of all the lines here out of all these drivers, and that tends to be what's fastest. Vulcan going for a little cushion action, so like we're just trying to do there. That's kind of interesting. Hunter's actually going to make some gains on him there. One good thing about this track, is this track in the Oval Series schedule? I actually don't think it is. I'll have to check on that. I'm pretty sure it's not, actually. Yeah, it might be. I could check here in a second. But if it is, this track, one of the few ovals that does have a pit road ready to go, so that's nice. I'm going to check right now, actually, because now I'm curious. Staying pretty similar here. We do probably the closest battle on track right now. is this battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Between Vulcan, Hunter, and Slaunch, that's easily the closest these drivers are on track. And Hunter was gaining on Vulcan a little bit before, but now he's fallen off a little bit. We'll have to see if he can get that back. And I'm checking right now, yeah, HRL actually is in the Oval Series schedule, so we will see it back again for that series. 5th race of the season. Looks like Vulcan's gotten away from that pack a little bit. Now he's catching up to Uncle Blake, right on top of him pretty much. See if he's able to make a move though. We did see some moves being attempted and some moves being completed in the heat races. So you can definitely, and in the semi as well, you can definitely make moves in this track. It's just you gotta be very precise with it. Essentially, like you can't make a move too early, because if you do, that's gonna screw you over completely, and you lose all that time that you just spent, you know, gaining on the person. You lose all of that if you mistime your move. So that's what this track is all about, really making your move at the right time, taking advantage of when the driver in front of you maybe messes up a little bit. It's a very interesting line that Vulcan is running here. I don't even think he's gaining on Blake that much. He's just kind of running with him, trying to steal the momentum there. Vulcan's very close. Let's get on board with him here if we can. Vulcan is very close on Blake here. And I think he's going to make the move. Vulcan trying to make the first real pass attempt of this race. And he had a run all the way to the exit of that corner, and then he kind of lost it. And he's just trying to steal momentum here from Blake. And in that, he's actually losing some of his own. I noticed that with the way the grab volumes are, if you like try to cross line from the inside to the middle, it is not the fastest way around. And that definitely hurt Vulcan right there. You can tell he tried to do that and did not help him at all. So he's going to lose that time on Blake for sure. I'm just kind of interested in his line here though. It's really weird. He's like the only, I guess I commend him for doing something different. He's like the only person running this line. He kind of runs the cushion in the very beginning of the corner and then gives up on it for the rest of the corner. And I don't know how I feel about it. It doesn't really look like it's faster than what Blake's doing. It's just different, I guess. And I assume that's what the goal is for Vulcan. He just, you know, wants something different here to try to make something work, and that's why he's doing it. I don't know. It's very odd. He's gonna update. Detail's still at the lead. Pretty healthy lead. Luke in second. Roman in third. Fairly close. Blake and Vulcan probably still the closest two on the track. Hunter and Slaunch fairly close. And then the back three drivers a little bit more separated. So you got this top three pack. It's got quite a bit of a gap. The closest pack on track for sure right here is 4th through 7th. And I'd be surprised if we don't see some switch ups in position by some of these drivers by the time we get later in the race. You can see a lot of different lines being ran by all these guys here in this little pack. I think all of them are, besides Blake probably, I think all of them are just trying to find something. And yeah, they're just searching, trying a different line every single lap, trying to find some line that gives them just a little bit of extra speed. And you know, with every track, there's always something like that. I just don't think any of these guys have found it yet. That's the interesting thing. Every single oval track, especially, always has something. You just got to find it. And I don't think any of these people have found it quite yet, because they're all running on a pretty similar pace. Vulcan though, where did that run come from? Vulcan with an amazing run. He's gonna try to steal the momentum. Vulcan again making an attempt at passing Blake. Can he complete it this time? Trying to steal the momentum. He loses a lot of ground there in the middle of the corner. He's got a bit of a nose on him. He might be able to complete this pass. I think he's gonna go for it. He's gonna try to slide up in front of him. Oh, interesting line out of Vulcan there. He slides up in front of Blake, kind of ruins Blake's momentum a little bit, and then hits the cushion to try to make up for the fact that Vulcan was like sliding all the way up across the track. So that was interesting right there. That line actually kind of worked out for him. So Vulcan now moving into the the fourth, right, the fourth place position. Yes. Okay. I think it's I got confused because these guys are just starting to run into lap traffic. So we'll try to keep some sort of an eye on this. Leaders now running into lap traffic very soon here. Yeah, I mean it's definitely big for Vulcan to be running in fourth here. I was gonna comment on it. I think I was gonna do a recap video or something like that, and it never got posted. And I was gonna talk about how Vulcan, and this was a couple weeks ago, so it doesn't really, you know, doesn't really apply now. I mean, it still applies a little bit, but it's not as desperate as it was before. But yeah, there was a period of like 3 or 4 weeks where Vulcan was just having a really rough half of the season. And, ooh, Hunter makes some mistakes, so that might get interesting. But yeah, there was a good period of like 3 or 4 weeks where Vulcan was having a very rough patch in the season. He was finishing in the back, he got some penalties, and there was just, you know, nothing was really going his way. And I was talking about how, like, with where he is, or where he was, rather, in the points, and we might see the move being made here. Oh, it's going to get close. Oh, no to the wall slightly. That's going to hurt Slonch a ton. And now Hunter going to be able to hold on to that position for a tad longer. Yeah, I was talking about with where Vulcan was in the points that he really needs, or needed at the time, to start having some good finishes. And last week's doubleheader, if I recall correctly, he did fairly well. He did pretty decent. And now he's coming into this week's doubleheader. He's in fourth right now in the first moto. So if he can keep that up, definitely what he needs for sure. Oh, getting into the lap driver there for Luke. That's definitely going to slow him down a little bit. Now we might see a battle here for second and third between Luke and Roman. Sector running the complete outside. And Roman with a random huge run down the backstretch. And is going to get it into the inside of that corner and might be able to complete the pass here. Trying to make it work on the inside, very close. Luke's still holding just a tad, but I think Roman should be able to complete it here, and he does. Going to be able to complete that pass, so moving into second place, which could be huge, especially considering there is a whole nother moto to go. Let me see, we're running kind of low on time here, getting very close to the end of the race. Detail's still your leader. Vulcan has really stretched that gap. Blake has really stretched that gap. And even Hunter has quite a gap on Slonch. So a lot of these battles have settled out a little. Oh my god. Slamming into sector there. A lot of these battles have settled out quite a bit. So at this point, the only way we're going to see anything really interesting here for the end of the race is if there's like a, you know, if one of these drivers gets loose and crashes or something like that, or maybe gets into lap traffic again. But you look at that, Shift is pretty far ahead. I really highly doubt that Detail can catch up to Shift in that amount of time. But we're going to follow him here because that way we'll be able to figure out. So this is going to be 3 to go right here. So 3 laps to go. And Roman looks like he's really found something here at the end of the race, has gained quite a bit of time on Detail, but is there enough time left to make anything work? That is definitely the question. We're already hitting 2 to go here, so not that much time left. I think it's definitely going to take like a mistake hitting the wall, something like that, for anything to be possible here for him. We're already in the last couple of corners until we hit the white flag right here, last lap. And yeah, it's looking like it's going to be pretty safe here as long as they get through these last couple corners. Gets through them clean, and that's going to be it. Detail is going to take the first moto win. Roman's going to take second. Luke's going to take third. And Vulcan right there with fourth. Oh yeah, the fireworks. A little bit of firework action. Had to have the 4th of July firework action on the track. You know, you can't go without that. Okay, so let me get the lineup here on the side of the screen. Alright, so I already announced the top 4. 5th was Blake, 6th was Hunter, 7th was Slonch, 8th was Hammy, 9th was Shift, 10th Sector. And that is your lineup for the first moto. So now we're going to be going into the second moto. It's going to be inverted from the finish of this one. So you're going to see the front people towards the back people towards the front. And should definitely make things interesting here for the second moto. So let's get right into it.